Pudge, what time is it?
It's time for the Chubby Guys podcast.
Woo! Frankfurt Adina, were you a warrior?
Go ahead and start it, Tyler.
Yeah.
I'm giving Tyler the cue. We'll go ahead.
Yeah.
We'll just go ahead and fire up.
Yeah, let's go.
Because if I'm not careful with Chad,
I'll have it done before we're ready to go.
Have it all done.
Yeah.
So what? Well, it's Doctor. Is there any other title other than Dr. Sever?
Nah, you can just call me Bill.
Okay, all right. We call
That
me
works.
Pudge. You can Chubby Pudge, Chubby Chad.
Yeah.
Welcome. Cheers.
Well, yeah, cheers.
Cheers
Welcome
to you,
to the
my
show.
friend.
Yes.
Appreciate
Thanks
you guys
for coming
having me
in,
down.
man.
Yeah,
Thank you.
well, we appreciate you coming down.
And you said that you are out of the capital of the universe,
That's right.
Frankfurt, Ohio.
Frankfurt, Ohio. That's right.
Born and raised.
Born and raised.
And you were an Adina warrior.
I was.
Okay, now did you play any sports in high school there?
I did. Well, I attempted to.
Okay, well, I mean, that's all that really counts.
You know, football was always my love.
Yeah.
And, you know, I had a decent junior year, but had some games that didn't go my way. But basketball turned out to probably be my best sport.
Oh, okay.
I was a warm-up All-American.
Great at shooting layups.
I used to average 30 in warm-ups. Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty good.
That's
man.
a true story.
Yeah. That was. See, I wasn't even that good in basketball. I couldn't even. I couldn't score in warm-ups. So
You couldn't?
No, man. I was not. I was not a scoring threat. More of a defensive presence there for the rebounds.
In warm-ups, yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Throwing it back to the shooters. You know.
And not only was I warm-up All-American, I looked awesome doing it.
Oh well, that's the key, man.
And it's back.
Wear the uniform well. Yeah.
Wore it well, and now it's back. I had just a raging mullet.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sides
man.
shaved.
Yeah. What years are we talking here, man?
1988 to 1991.
Dude, we're the same age.
Are we really?
Oh yeah. I remember the mullets, man. That was right.
Oh,
there.
they were thick back in y'all's era.
Oh yeah, man.
They were thinning out by the time they got up in the late 90s. I was 99.
Yeah.
You graduated in 99?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was a 91 guy, man, and they were alive and well.
Yeah.
We had them. No, we had
Matter
a lot
of fact,
bangs.
I may have had the first mullet in Ohio.
Is that right?
Maybe.
You were an early adopter.
Yeah. Yeah. Otherwise known as a Kentucky waterfall.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But,
I've heard that Canadian waterfall.
Yeah.
I've heard the yep, nope. You want that cut in the front? Yep. Back? Nope.
You have to excuse Chad and I. I think there's fentanyl in the allergies here.
Yeah,
this
I don't
year.
know what's going
In the
on,
pollen.
man. Yeah, wow. It's got me neutralized.
I have been fighting these allergies horrifically.
Well, I've gone so far as I've made an appointment. I've had enough.
Really?
I'm going to get. I'm going to an allergist to get tested. I mean, you know, I've been on Zyrtec now for several years, but hey, man, it's time to. There's something going on here, man.
You know what? That could be a symptom that your gallbladder's gone bad.
Oh my God.
Really?
He may need his gallbladder out.
Oh my goodness, man! That's I hope you're joking, dude.
Shameless plug.
Yeah. Shameless plug. Yeah. So from and if I need my gallbladder out, I know a guy that can do it.
Yeah.
I happen to know a guy.
Smooth play.
Yeah,
Smooth play right there.
very
Because I was all in. You could have taken me from there.
Yeah. He had me really nervous there all of a sudden. Like, oh my God.
Hey, don't be nervous. I'm a doctor.
Yeah.
So your primary focus, and we were just talking about before the show, is the Da Vinci robot.
That's correct.
And my dad had it with his prostate cancer. I forget his doctor's name at Adina. He was just trying it out. This has been like 2017, maybe 16, 17.
Okay.
Smooth.
Well, man, I mean, I've had the experience in being in a room where those things are working, and I mean, it makes you. Hey guys, try the beardedpup.com. Some of the best men's grooming products available on the market. I'll tell you, I have been a big fan of men's grooming products my entire life. And his post-shave balm is the best that I have ever used in my 48 years. Complete facial moisturizer. You can use it on your arms, face, legs, wherever you want. The cologne at thebeardedpup.com will have your wife all over you. Guys, it's real easy. Just go to thebeardedpup.com, pull out your phone. It's really easy. Very interactive website. You can get on there, order a sample pack of any different product that you may want to try. I am here to tell you, this is Chubby Chad endorsed. I think that it is the best products on the market. Beardedpup.com. Get your phone out and go see it. I think that, wow, how far medicine has come. I mean,
True.
Because I can't imagine the size of the incision that it maybe used to take, and then now they're using those.
Is this one Jamie Lewis helped with? Wasn't she in on some? I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe a rep part. I don't know. I mean, I don't know much about it other than that it's becoming, a very, very common practice. I mean,
Use it every day.
I would go so far as to say, especially for prostatectomy, it's definitely the standard of care.
Okay.
So if you're having your prostate removed and somebody's not using the Da Vinci system, they're falling short of the standard.
Yeah. You might want to get a second opinion.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you do that?
I do not do prostatectomy. That falls in the realm of urology.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
They work on cash and prizes.
Well, yeah. What?
I will handle my own.
Yeah.
I'm not into handling another guy's cash and prizes.
I'm with you. Yeah, totally with you. Tell me this: what when you're talking Da Vinci robot, like what can it be used in virtually anything now? Or I mean, where are you seeing? Is it primarily abdominal surgery, or where? I mean,
no. I mean, anywhere there's a space or a cavity. So, chest cavity is becoming, and it's really a unique tool for doing chest surgery. As you can imagine, people are having cardiac bypass with it.
Oh, really? They're doing
that's right,
heart surgery. Okay.
And lung resections. And when I trained, we used to do a lot of open thoracotomy, and that's a vicious operation.
Oh, man.
I mean, you're talking about putting retractors in. Every time you spread it, you give it one more crank just to open it up, and you can hear the ribs and cartilage cracking. And, it's really a painful operation, but that's kind of revolutionized chest surgery.
Oh, yeah.
Abdominal surgery has come a long way. And I remember, I trained 2005 for residency.
Mm-hmm.
And back then, I love doing open laparotomies. You got these big incisions, I'm getting to participate in the operation because I got to open and I got to close.
Yeah.
But it's really a horrific experience for a patient to have their belly opened up, not to mention the downstream consequences later on.
Infection and everything.
If they need another operation, somebody's been there, their belly's been opened up, they've got all these adhesions potentially, and then it's fraught with danger later on. So laparoscopy came through, really in the early 90s, and then people were slow adopters to that. You probably have family members that had their gallbladder taken when they had the big machete incision underneath the right rib cage, and then laparoscopy comes along and it really changed that. And there's been really a second paradigm shift now with robotics, and robotics is just a far better operation than having to do with the laparoscope. I got on the train early.
Okay.
I kind of felt like, this is a decent piece of equipment. Mm-hmm. This is here to stay. You're either going to be on the front of the train or you're going to be in the back of the train. Yeah. And I was a guy that was an early adopter.
Were you using the laparoscope, though?
Yeah.
I mean, probably very regularly. Were you kind of trained on that?
Yeah, I was fortunate enough that I trained in a community hospital in Youngstown, Ohio, St. Elizabeth's.
Yeah. Had
5 or 6 attendings that really helped shape my career. And, I look back and I think about the people that I've been around, and I feel really fortunate for the people that I got to meet at a certain time in my life. And that was definitely a stage in my life where, I felt like I had really great people around me. And so I was pretty proficient with the laparoscope when I came out. And I continued to kind of hone that. But, after about 7 years, I don't want to say I was bored, but it was just kind of the same thing over and over again. And then all of a sudden, this gentleman shows up and he wants to have me come up and take a look at this Da Vinci system. I think, well, I'm pretty good with the laparoscope. I'm not sure, the hospital
what's a laparoscope?
It's a camera. So with laparoscopy, minimally invasive surgery with just a small camera.
Okay.
That's the way majority of surgery was done back in the late 90s, early 2000s. And now we've gone from just using a laparoscope where we're holding the camera and holding the instruments with our arms.
So whenever they're looking at the machine, what they're seeing up there is
what we put a camera inside the belly. That's right. And so now the surgical robot actually holds a camera for you, and it holds the instruments. And then I sit at a console, which is really like a video game.
Yeah.
It's in 3D. It's kind of on a hood. It's almost like, wearing a VR, if you will. Yeah. Except, you're sitting at a console and your face is down in the hood and you're looking inside the belly through the camera, but it's in 3D.
So it's all around you.
It's all around you. And the definition's phenomenal. And then the biggest jump to this equipment is the instrumentation is almost 360. So just like my wrist can only turn 180 degrees. Well, this instrument can spin almost 360 degrees, and it's got flexion, extension, and rotation to it. So with the laparoscope, you didn't have that.
When I've seen it being used, it almost seems like each finger, like you can even, can you manipulate those controls? Like how?
So the controls have two spaces. And most surgeons will use their index fingers and their thumbs, and they're like pinchers. And that's actually what uses the instruments to pinch.
Okay.
And then when you have your fingers in, you can also roll your hand.
Okay.
You can go up. You can have some excursion in, out, up, down.
It's amazing how precise that thing has to be.
It's phenomenal.
I mean, does it really? I mean, is it just an extension of your hands?
It is, so there's a learning curve to get through.
Yeah.
When Da Vinci comes to sell you on it, they're trying to sell a machine, trying to sell instrumentation.
Yeah.
When they come to tell you, they tell you the learning curve's 30 cases.
Okay. No.
It's 100 cases before you really start to see your times come down to where you're not taking forever to do an operation. Mm-hmm. And now you're getting proficient at it. And then, I've been doing this 10 years. I'm still learning. I'm still getting better. But I'm at the point in my career now where, I've done almost 3,000 cases with the robot.
Okay.
And I can sit down and do an operation. I can talk about last weekend. I can talk about a flight, whatever else. I just do it because I've just done so much of it.
Mm-hmm.
So is it a sterile factor or is it a visual factor? Like what, other than the incision going in, the entry to the body, what else are the better qualities about it? Just kind of like sitting down in there with that camera,
and that is true. You almost kind of feel like you've plopped up a chair inside the belly and you're just sitting there working, because it is all around you. But a couple things, and it's a great question, because with the laparoscope, if I've got a small tube in somebody's belly and I'm using an instrument and I'm going in and out, and let's say, for example, I'm reaching up to grab the gallbladder. Well, I've got to push on that instrument, right, to go over and grab that gallbladder. Well, the whole time I'm pushing on that instrument, I'm also pushing on that port that's in their belly.
Right.
And it creates this shear effect on the abdominal wall. Well, with the connective tissue that's over the muscle, there's tremendous numbers of nerve fibers in there. And so every time you shove on that, guess what? You're just pissing that nerve off.
Yeah.
And so it creates pain.
Soreness and pain.
Yeah.
That's right. And with the robot, that cannula or that port is actually fixed in space. I can't move it. Regardless of how much I shove on that console, that port stays right there. The only thing that moves in and out is just the instrument through the tube. And so there's not that, what we call port trauma. There's no shear effect on the abdominal wall once you get it set up. And so it's made dramatic improvements in pain tolerance after surgery.
Well, like recovery times have to be better.
It's
correct?
phenomenal.
I mean,
so I was one of the first ones to do laparoscopic colon resections at Adena, where I used to work. And when we did them open, so somebody'd get a big 10-inch incision in their belly, they were in the hospital anywhere from 3 to 7 days.
Right.
Well, I did them with the laparoscope. Guess how long they were in the hospital? 3 to 7 days.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah.
So there were some that went home earlier, but there was also some that stayed for 7 days or maybe even longer.
Right.
And so even though they didn't have that big machete incision on their belly, we didn't have to worry about the downstream consequences of a big laparotomy later on.
Right.
They were still in the hospital long. Well, then the robot comes along, and the first 10 colon resections I do, I mean, they're leaving in 48 hours. I'm thinking, man, something's going on here.
Yeah.
I'm either really good or this robot's really good. And it really turns out to be the robot. I mean, I'm pretty slick on it, but it's just it completely changed the way we operate.
Does it change the game as far as like readmissions and stuff like that? Like
Absolutely.
Infections. I mean, obviously smaller incisions and things like that.
And less blood loss.
Right. Okay.
I mean, I've had operations where we literally only lose maybe 3 to 4 milliliters of blood.
Oh my God.
And that's typically from the skin.
Right.
That's not even intra-abdominal structures. It's just skin bleeding. So it's really changed the game. And now, and you had asked the question before the show about how do people learn on this?
Yeah.
And it used to be to where we had surgeons, and I'm an observation site, so surgeons will travel in to come watch me. And I've seen less and less of that over the last couple of years. And I think the reason is because most residents are now being trained in training centers, and they're learning before they even come out.
Okay. That's awesome.
That's crazy. I mean, so as a guy that does this, is this your machine or is this the hospital's?
I wish, man, if I could charge for it, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
No, the hospital owns it. They're about $2 million a piece.
Okay. Man.
Yeah, and nobody buys them anymore.
It's a lease.
It's a lease. Yeah, because it's really this supercomputer.
Well, and there's probably constant upgrades and things of that.
That's the
nature,
whole
right?
reason why you don't buy it.
Yeah.
How's it? Does it have software? Like, is it like a cloud-driven base, or what is it?
So it's connected to the web, and it's crazy. So they've got this new app. I've actually got an app on my phone. It's called My Intuitive. The company that makes the Da Vinci systems, Intuitive Surgical. And so they've got this app, and it shows me all my cases, and it shows me exactly how long I've been sitting at the console, how long it took me to do the operation. It measures me against the U.S. average for all the surgeons doing that same procedure.
Got a dashboard.
Wow.
Gives me top 10%, and then it gives me what my times are.
Yeah. Oh my. Well, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
So it's kind of built like the medical system is, just to keep up, is having to get in. Not, I don't want to say a churn and burn, but how many of these can we get done a day? I mean, there's a demand for what you do.
Yeah, I think it's more. There's definitely a demand, but and if you're really good at what you do, then people will seek you out.
Yes.
But there's also a standard. We don't want to have people asleep forever.
right.
You've been around anesthesia.
Yes.
So when you anesthetize patients for hours on end, that's not good for the brain. So
Yeah, you're physically shutting it down.
yeah, you really need to do a good job. You need to take your time, do a solid operation, but you also don't want to take 8 hours to do it. And so there's a fine line there.
Yeah. So when, you bring up an interesting point, like what have you noticed since you've been in the medical field? Like, how has it changed? Like, you say, boy, I'd love to be able to bill for that thing. Yeah. Like how do you balance that as a physician, man? Like, hey, everybody wants to make money, right?
Sure.
But you also have a greater responsibility if, hey, there's a patient laying there on the table. How do you balance the modern healthcare world with insurance reimbursements and, how they're paying things as far as like readmissions and everything? Like, there's so many things that go into that factor, it seems like.
Right.
How much of your brain as a physician does that occupy?
The money part doesn't occupy very much of it.
Right.
Obviously I got to be able to feed my family.
Right.
I like to eat too.
Right.
But I kind of have a premise for myself. I just need to do a great job for the person that's in front of me.
Right.
And if I start there, then everything else kind of works out.
Yeah.
I've been an employed physician my entire career. I'm not very business savvy.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll be the first. I mean, hell, I can't even budget my household.
Well, what did
But you can run a robot.
But
I can run a robot, but I can't balance my budget.
Well, wouldn't you rather though be the guy that's saying, "Hey, look, man, I'm here for the patient. Like, you guys in these offices, you guys take care of how we're billing this and all this stuff."
Well, I did that for the first part of my career, and I got to be honest, health systems in general do a terrible job of employing physicians.
Okay.
Now, there's some places that do it well, but in general, they do a terrible job employing physicians. And it's kind of funny because, excuse me, when I first got into this, all of the literature was saying, hey, if you do this robotically, it is so much more expensive.
Okay.
Well, I've just proven that 1,000 times over.
Yeah.
It's not more expensive. Matter of fact, there's a ton of cost savings to it. And I won't get,
Yeah.
this podcast isn't long enough to get into that.
Right.
Plus, nobody, really gives a shit about that. But anyhow, so what I try to do is I try to do the very best operation I can for the patient in the shortest period of time, and I try to be as cheap as possible. And so I'm not using all the latest and greatest and burning through a bunch of instruments, because every time you slide a new robotic instrument in there, cha-ching, $200. So it can really run the bill up pretty quick. So I've streamlined my operations down so much that not only am my time's really quicker than most 10% or it's in the top 10% of the country,
Right.
but I'm also one of the cheapest.
So you do pay attention.
Absolutely.
To
You have
what you're
to.
putting in. Yeah.
I don't know if you guys know this, but healthcare is now $4 trillion of the gross domestic product.
Yeah.
$4 trillion.
Yeah.
And guess what? In 7 years, it's going to be $6 trillion.
Yeah. Right.
That's not sustainable. So something's got to change.
Right.
And we've got to have more people being financially responsible to try to trim costs. And I got some partners, and we're actually working on trying to get an ambulatory surgery center up and running in Southern Ohio.
Yeah.
And it's going to cut healthcare probably by 60% as far as what the patients are going to be charged.
Like in a situation like a surgery center like that, like you're looking at probably 100% outpatient.
So the Medicare will set what can be done as an outpatient.
Right.
There's some surgeries I do that they won't allow for that to be done in an ambulatory surgery center.
Okay.
That'll probably change because the government's, guess what? I don't know if you guys have realized, but they've been printing some money here of late.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So they're going to be looking to cut some costs here at some point.
Sure. Yeah.
So I think at some point, a lot of those cases that have to be done in the hospital
Yeah.
are going to be moved to the ambulatory surgery center.
Look at that change in the last 10 to 20 years.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
I mean, there's a lot of those now that are outpatient.
Right.
People are going in and getting new hips and leaving the same day.
And leaving
man.
the same day. That's right.
I mean,
Why can't whenever you go to the doctor, like take I have a young family, okay, and let's just say that one of us needs blood work. Okay?
Sure.
Why can't I call the doctor and say, hey, I need some blood work, and they like rattle me off a list of things that I want done, and then they give me a price, and then I go get it and I pay that price? Why can't they do that? Why can't
They can.
Why don't they?
Because traditionally that's not the way it's been. And I've got a master's in health administration. And
So you know a little bit.
I don't know if I know a little bit.
You know a lot.
No, a tiny bit.
Yeah.
I'm not really that smart. I always tell patients, it's kind of funny. I sit down, I talk to them about an operation.
Yeah.
I'm a very visual guy, so I draw a lot of pictures.
Yeah.
And so one of my lines is I'll tell the patients, I got to draw you a picture because I can't read or write so well. And the looks I get sometimes, it's like,
yeah.
hey, where's the door? I'm out of here. So it's just the way things have been set up for decade over decade over decade.
Okay.
And the price transparency is one of the things that's going to happen. It's going to change.
It has to.
It has to.
I mean, you'll go in. It's like you'll go in for blood work, and then next, I could see, $200 or $300. You're there 45 minutes. You have some tests done. They got to send it off. There's some labor in there. Let's just say your standard blood work. Triglycerides, insulin levels, and all that stuff. Why? And then, like, miraculously, you just get a bill and it's $1,100, and it's like.
Well, see, I think a
what
lot of
happened
it,
here?
has to do with like what your insurance coverage
Well,
is.
but I don't understand why that transaction. It seems like there's a great big old circle that's real muddy and like a swampy area that it goes in one side and it comes out the other, and you never know what it's going to pop out as. Is it going to be a glob of moss or a glob of mud? But and then it's, by the time it circles back down to you, and it's like, why can't I just take that bill, okay, and I either pay it or I give it to my insurance if I've met my deductible and my insurance reimburse me? Why is that so hard?
It shouldn't be.
This really should not be.
Here's what happens. So you've got Medicare, Medicaid, government payers, and then you've got private insurance. And so hospital or health systems will inflate the prices so much because they never
For
want
a
to
certain for a certain patient.
for an insurance company. They never want to leave dollars on the table. So if let's say a lab should be, let's say they're charging $100, and in actuality, they could probably still make money if they're getting $10. But they may have an insurance company that's
They'll
willing to
give
pay
them
$115.
Yeah.
And so they'll charge $200.
So they're going to wait and see what that insurance company's standard
Well, and I think that they go into it knowing, hey, we're not going to get the full price.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
let's get it up here,
Right.
and then
And there's got to be some cost sharing because they're not going to get the amount of money they want out of the government payers. And so they set this really high price. The insurance then pays much higher, right? What helps cover what they're losing on the government side?
I mean, it's no different than like long-term care. Long-term care, that transaction is very transparent.
Oh, yeah.
You either forego your assets or you pay your monthly bill, or
that's right.
grandpa's out.
That's right.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Why is it not? I just do not understand.
I think it could be headed that way, but I mean, you're looking at an industry though right now where you've got third-party companies that are now taking care of billing. You got third-party companies that are doing prior authorizations from insurance companies. I mean,
the consultation services in healthcare is staggering.
Yeah.
And you talk about why is it so expensive? That.
Yeah.
But hey, what about the C-suites?
Yeah.
The CEO, the COO, the CFO.
Yeah.
right.
None of those people drive any revenue at all. They're all overhead. And they've all got big salaries.
Big salary.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's why ambulatory surgery centers, I think, is going to be a winner.
Yeah. Yeah.
soon.
Yeah, I mean, if a doctor goes and I go to my family doctor and he says, "Hey, Pudge, you need your gallbladder taken out." Okay, what's your bill for this visit? We're either going to pay or we're going to take that and we're going to give it to my insurance company. I go to you and I say, "Here's my recommendation. You call, verify it, schedule me up. Boom." That should be so. I mean, you've got a phone charger on a business card.
Yeah.
You know, like it just tells you where, you know, how easy this really could be if they wanted it to be.
Right. There's change coming. It'll have to.
Yeah.
Tell me this. Not to completely
Well, hang on,
change
before I
gears.
look stupid, just so everybody. Did you see those?
Oh, I did. Yeah, these are amazing, man. He's got a business card with a flash drive on
Yeah,
it.
this one's got the flash drive. How's that work?
You just spin it right
spin it
there.
right
Yeah.
there.
I mean, yeah.
USB.
Oh, USB card, and it holds what? 4 gigabytes.
4 gigs. Yep.
4 gigs is pretty.
Yeah,
That's a pretty
yeah,
good amount.
Yeah.
And Jason Prater. Do you guys know Jason?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
You do?
Oh, yeah,
Oh
yeah,
well,
yeah.
you mean the man that's driving around all the luscious cars now?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's. I told him I was going to bust his chops when I got that.
Yeah, Prater's a big timer, man. We've been trying to get Jason Prater to sit in that seat right there.
He won't do it.
Will not do it.
He won't.
Too shy, man.
He gets a little gun shy around the camera. I've noticed that.
Well,
He
tries
knows
to
both
play-
of us well enough to.
Yeah.
to
He tries to play this. Well, I'm too busy.
Yeah.
Roll and I mean,
Hey,
he just
just
put me
own
off.
it,
Wait a
Prater.
minute.
Own
Too
it.
busy.
Oh,
I'm not
yeah.
even sure what this guy does.
Oh,
Yeah.
exactly.
He has coffee. I do know that.
I told him
Own it, Prater. You're big legging us, dude. Just own it. You
I told him
know?
today. We was joking. He said, "I said I like her." I said, "You got your new card?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "Tell everybody I've got this underground business." And I said, "Yeah, I'm gonna tell everybody AP Prep's a sweatshop."
That's right.
And that's what they do up there instead of box. They just knit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was Prater's idea. He put the QR code.
Oh yeah.
Goes right.
Prater's pretty smart.
Yeah, he is a bright guy.
Yeah.
Anyhow, that goes to my website. You can schedule an appointment, call me,
That's
ask
awesome,
questions,
man.
whatever. Send me an email.
Yeah.
I was talking to somebody today, and we were talking about the simplicity. Oh, it was my cousin David at the funeral home, and I said, I know it's kind of weird to think about, but I said, even you at some point will have to get process oriented.
Oh.
You will have, whenever you call in, are you calling about funerals or cremation? And press 1. And I said, why wouldn't you? It's so easy to streamline stuff.
Yeah.
Now. People want that.
Oh yeah.
They expect it.
They expect it now.
Yeah, it's got to be easy, or they're going to go to the next guy, man. I mean, that's going to be life. But the thing that intrigues me, I mean, let's kind of come full circle here.
And we're going to take a break because I'm about to sweat to death.
Are you? Okay. Okay.
guys
Well,
sweating.
we can wait then.
Webb,
I
you
want
got to get here, Webb.
I want to talk to you though about you're a local guy.
That's right.
You go off, get training, and you decide to practice in the area that you grew up in.
Right.
And I think that's cool because I don't think that that's something you see a lot.
I wish it happened more.
Yeah, I mean, because the people of Southern Ohio. I mean,
We're
it's-
special.
Yeah. I mean, you speak the language. You could translate. And I guess let's maybe take a little break and then get back and
hot?
let's talk about being
He needs
kinda
another-
comfy.
he
being
needs a beer.
an Appalachian doctor.
Okay.
Part
Sounds
2
good.
coming up.
Part 2
Tune
coming
in.
up. Boop.
Get everything. Get us all straightened out. But
Yeah, Tyler, we've decided we're all going to quit our regular jobs. So
Yeah. Tyler, you're next. Well, we can't even get him to quit cutting his grass. Do you cut your grass?
I do. I live on a farm.
Well, I kind of do, but not really. I just have 10 acres and horses. But I don't have, how big a farm you got?
Just a shade under 600.
Yeah, that's far.
Yeah, that's farm.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what, the grass grows out there.
Now,
Yeah.
did you grow up on a farm then, man?
I did.
Okay, so
Yep.
like you've got that background.
What do you farm?
So up until, from the time I came back in 2005 until 2017, I did row crop farming, corn,
Okay.
soybeans,
Yep.
wheat. And then I got into a little bit of cattle in 2012. And in 2017, I had 1,000 acres. Not to mention I do something called surgery.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
going to say, man, how in the world
Yeah.
do you keep up with all that?
I was struggling. I was on the
Okay.
struggle bus. Yeah. So in 2017, I just gave it up. It was just too much. And
Excuse me.
For not much. Too much for not much.
And remember, I told you earlier in the podcast, I can't run a business. Yeah, I sucked at running that too.
Yeah.
I thought I was getting tax write-offs and, making money. No, I was taking a bath.
Man.
So I'd like to have that money back now, actually.
Yeah.
How do farmers like in Ohio like?
Well,
really-
the ones that survive are really business savvy.
Yeah.
And not only that, they're kind of jack of all trades. So they can be mechanics. I'm not mechanically oriented. I love
Like
to
they don't have
drive
to
the
call
tractors.
guys to fix things. It's
Bingo.
them. I mean,
Whereas if something's breaking for me, I'm calling the guy, and
You're bringing a crew out and they're fixing your big
$1,500 later. That's just the service call. That doesn't include the parts.
yeah, right.
You know, so it just got to overwhelming, and then with my job, and then I got remarried in 2018, and my wife and I we wanted to have another child, and that turned out to be 2, and so now I've got like a litter of 5.
Ooh.
Yeah. So something had to give, and the row crop farming, I had to give that up. So now we have cattle.
Short straw. Yeah. True short straw.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
How many head you running?
So we had about 80 last summer.
Okay.
And then I sold 25, and I don't know how it happened, but somehow I got close to 80 again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Every spring and fall.
Not sure how that works.
They just keep popping out.
Yeah. It's weird how that works.
Damn bull.
It's appalling. It's appalling.
Yeah.
I'd like to sign up to be him, actually.
Yeah. What a job, man.
So have you bit the mountain biking bug with the rest of them over there?
I have. Although I'll tell you, COVID was funny. We were talking during the break about how you guys got started, and COVID was interesting. I just told one of the anesthesiologists today, if I could go back to March of 2020 and
Hey, are you a business owner looking for insurance coverage? Give this guy a call. You know him. You trust him. Jason Gillum, Gillum Insurance, 740-395-0190.
My God, as a parent of an 8-year-old with a family and moving through life, the best thing I ever did was download the McDonald's app. What a breeze. Order for your family. Pull up. They bring it to you. Easy. Download the app today from McDonald's.
start over again, I would definitely do that again, especially knowing how kind of the backside of this works out.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a pretty good time. I took essentially a 2-year vacation.
We talked about that, man.
I loved it.
Like, I mean, and that was the thing. We didn't hate that at all, man. I mean, it was like, man, we just kind of got back sitting there with our families every day. I mean,
So much stress free.
Yeah. I
but
mean,
then it kind of one puts you at peace, but gives you a little perspective.
it does, man. I mean, like, it do a lot of thinking,
You do.
you know, and it was good. Now, I'll be honest. I was ready to start moving a little
sure.
bit again, man.
Right.
I mean,
have they come out with any data, like mental health data from COVID? Like, is anything?
I don't know. I think it was
Suicide rate's way up
yeah.
in
I
young
think it was
kids.
really bad for a lot of
so
people.
suicide rates are way up
Teen suicide rates are way up. Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was really bad for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I'd say we should probably be careful when we talk about how great it is, because I'm
Yeah,
sure
I
it was
was thinking-
really bad
yeah,
for a lot of people.
I
but-
just meant the shutdown from society.
yeah, man.
I don't mean COVID.
It was a really unique experience. And we were fortunate enough that nobody in our family got sick, and everybody was, doing okay financially and everything. I mean, it was just kind of one of those things where it's like, wow. I mean, the world literally stopped
It did. And
for almost a year, and you were doing everything. I mean, I was working, but it was from home. It was Zoom calls. It was
You really had about 4 months or what was it, 8 weeks or 12 weeks of complete shutdown.
complete. Yeah.
I mean, and then it fired back up in what, like May 16th?
Well, I mean, for me,
May 21st.
I mean,
something like
where my job, if I'm leaving the house, then I'm going to like a hospital or something. Well, they don't want to let reps in there anyway, man. So, they had a really good excuse.
Yeah.
well, they shut elective surgery down, and even
I
I will tell you that the care I think suffered a lot during that time.
I wondered, like,
Because,
a lot of people probably needed some care that didn't
get it, and I'm seeing some of that now. But
Yeah.
Why I would like to go back, or at least have the chance to go back and kind of relive that time, was I get to spend 2 years with my family.
Right.
That, I took a break, a 2-year break in the middle of my career. I mean, who gets to say that?
Yeah, dude, it was like being retired.
It was.
Yeah. I mean, it was really pretty
You
cool.
feel like it's over?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, I'm back full steam working, hitting it hard every day. There's going to be challenges, obviously, but you just got to filter through the noise.
Yeah.
Are there some things that have changed forever in the hospital setting now?
That's a great
COVID?
question. I'm wondering if I think the mask thing, it could be here to stay in hospitals.
Right,
I mean,
right.
as an employed physician at Ohio Health, I've got to wear a mask everywhere.
Sure.
And they're very sensitive, and I understand why. They've got to be a leader in the community and set an example. Yeah. But I'm wondering if the mask thing, it may be here forever.
Yeah, I was wondering. I was actually surprised when they went ahead and took it down for airplanes and stuff. I mean, I was really glad because it makes it a lot easier to fly. But yeah, I mean, in the hospital setting, I got to think that'll be here to stay. And you know, a lot of
crazy time period we went through with that.
Oh man, dude!
You know, history book.
Oh,
I mean, that was just.
Well, I mean, like it was, you know, for guys our age, that was a really unique experience. You know, to be in midlife. You know, we're hustling, going out there, getting everything done, working like crazy, and then all of a sudden it's like,
stop.
You know,
right?
yeah. And I mean, it was cool. It was definitely an experience that we probably won't get another shot at, and you know, Lord hope so. I don't. I hope we don't.
I don't really want to do it again. That's for sure.
No.
But the mountain bike thing, you know, that's kind of how I got started.
Okay.
Was during that time period, and
I've bid it too.
Have you?
Yep.
Nice.
I'm not able to get up there as much as you guys just being down here, but
right.
But I went full go. I'll probably have to have another bike by the end of the summer. So, you know, it's
ton of fun.
Yep. Not real like jarring. You know, can be, but you know, you can have some bad wrecks.
Well, like if you're driving fast, taking a lot of chances. I mean,
yeah, it can get you pretty good. But
are you hardcore out there?
Everything I do is hardcore.
Okay, so you're taking chances.
I wish it wasn't, but I'll tell you a quick story.
Yeah.
So we buy my boy Finn.
Mm-hmm.
This kid, I tell you what, if it's got a motor and a set of wheels, he's all about it.
Yeah.
So we buy him this pedal tractor, and on a night, and it's in April, I think, my wife decides she's going to get out and start putting it together. I didn't want to put it together, but she got it out, so we were putting it together.
Yeah.
Well, I got this new set of Craftsman screwdrivers, brand new. Have you ever seen the plastic cases these things come in?
I haven't.
Yeah, it's like Fort Knox.
Really?
Oh
Yeah. You can't get them out.
Okay.
So and now I'm a surgeon too, by the way, right?
Yeah, right.
So I get the steak knife out, and I'm going to cut this box open to get my screwdrivers to put together this pedal tractor.
Yeah.
So I get it out, and I'm trying to take the knife, and I got my hand here holding it, and I got the knife here, and a millisecond before it slipped, I thought, you know, my wrist is not in the best position. I probably ought to change it. Whoosh.
Yeah.
Across the room it goes. So I immediately hold pressure, and I look over at my wife, and I said, hey, you may want to call Dr. Such and Such.
Yeah.
I just transected my radio artery, and she's a nurse practitioner.
Okay, so she knows what you're talking about.
Yeah. So she dropped a few expletives.
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
Yeah.
And I said, I'm not kidding. You need to call him. So I ended up having surgery that night to repair the radio artery in my wrist. 5:30 the next morning, I call her and I said, hey, can you come get me? Because it was probably 1, 2 a.m. before I got surgery. So this is on a Saturday morning. I come home, I recover. Meanwhile, we worked cows that next day. I had to give vaccinations.
Oh, my.
So Monday rolls around, and Prater and Kevin Weingartner, and I can't remember who else was with our group. We're going to go mountain biking. I thought, well, you know, it's a radio artery. That thing's pretty elastic. I can ride a bike. So I watched Weingartner go over a little jump, and I had only been mountain biking about 2 weeks. I was like, man, that looks fun. I can do that. I go off. I'm looking up one of these numbers over the handlebars. All of a sudden, my hand feels a little funny, and I look up, and I've dislocated this finger.
Oh, yeah.
I thought I broke it. The first thing that popped in my head is like, oh, no, I've dislocated my finger. It was like, oh, shit, I got to call my wife and tell her I need surgery again.
Yeah. It can go that way quick.
Well, it's like, hey, man, like your hands, like they're kind of valuable, dude. Like, you know.
Yeah.
It's giving me a little pause because, you know, I go hard at it. And to be honest with you, I'm not that good, you know. But the only thing I'm really good at is I'm a decent pilot and I'm a decent surgeon.
There
but outside of that, I suck at everything else.
The woods will eat you. You'll never outsmart the woods. I mean, I think I'm flying, and I know that I'm not. That's why I always tell Jubal like I was born to fly. You know,
right.
Get out of my way, Jubal. You're a dream killer.
Yeah,
right.
You know. Have you biked with Jubal much?
I haven't.
I've biked with him twice, and I mean that e-bike he's got me ruined.
Hey, do you want to help develop your child's athletic ability? Or maybe you want to get off the couch and make yourself a little bit better? They earn the day at AP Prep. Look them up, apprep.info.
Hey guys, on behalf of the Chubbies, huge thanks to Geiger Brothers Construction. Give them a call at 740-286-0800. They've been great community supporters, and they are a friend of the Chubby program, so thank you, Geiger Brothers Construction. The one that's for sale? I should buy it.
No, you shouldn't.
You don't think I should?
No.
Man, I don't know.
You pay the price to go up the hill just for the fun. I mean, otherwise, the downhills won't be as fun.
Yes, they would. Yeah. I'm fat. Okay. I like the camaraderie in the woods and the speed. I don't like the exertion.
Yeah.
Yeah. The exertion's where I get hung up.
Well, then you need to buy the thing.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you still got to work a little bit with them, but they're not. I think it would make me go more. But
they're nice because you get to you would get to do more miles in a day.
yes.
Probably quicker.
Probably
more downhills.
I probably wouldn't do any more miles, but the miles I did would be easier. You know,
You don't think that you could do
Not if I
rather than
listened.
do it. So, grouse is it's one of my favorite ones.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a pretty long
Always
climb.
do switchback and then back
Yep,
around.
switchbacks are fun, but the grouse is a long grind.
Okay.
And usually after I do that and do one downhill, we've done some others where we've done a couple uphills.
Usually
it takes
one
some
uphill,
time.
Yeah.
So I think the e-bike takes some of that out.
I hope.
Yeah.
That'd be the whole purpose.
Yeah. You'd be really disappointed if you bought it and then it didn't help.
Yeah, it did help. What kind of bike you ride?
So I have an Ibis.
Okay. All right. There's nice
A
bikes.
Ripmo, yeah.
Okay.
And so I had bought a bike. Actually, Prater ended up buying it from me, and it was really cool. Loved it. And just like with anything else, I remember I told you for the podcast, I get something in my head and can't get rid of it.
Right.
So I thought, it'd be fun to put one of these things together. So during COVID, I bought a frame, and I decided I was going to build one.
Yeah. How'd that go?
I needed help.
Yeah.
Yeah, I needed help.
There's a lot of technical stuff in those
There
things.
is, yeah.
Especially getting drop posts and all that stuff.
The drop posts I could figure out, but
It's fairly simple hydraulic
the
system.
shifters and getting those to work clean. I think people that can like Jubal,
Jubal's good.
super slick.
Yeah.
He can look at him, spin him, listen to him.
Yeah.
He knows what's
He
wrong.
knows what's wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. I couldn't even put a new one together.
This is my second one, and it's a Trek Fuel.
Yeah, nice
So,
bike.
well, it's an older one. Bought it off a local guy that was in mint condition. Guy just never. It's probably 10 years old, something like that, maybe a little older. After this season, I'll probably be ready for the next. Maybe I don't know about carbon. I don't know about that yet, but now you're getting up there. But
So carbon, I didn't think that it was going to make a difference.
does it?
It makes a difference. Yeah, it's just a lot lighter. I mean, we had this app that you could follow yourself on the trail, and you could time your segments. And when I went to the carbon frame, I got noticeably faster.
Everything got faster.
Yeah.
Huh. So you're an adrenaline junkie? Is that why you're a pilot? Why'd you decide to be a pilot?
Well, the big thing was my daughter plays ice hockey, and she used to go to Unyoda, and in order for her to play high school hockey, she was going to have to go to a different school, and the only school in the state of Ohio that offers girls hockey at the high school level is Gilmore Academy in Cleveland.
The only school that offers girls hockey. There's only one.
There's only one.
In the whole state of Ohio.
Whole state of Ohio.
Who in the hell they play?
They travel.
Michigan, I'd say.
Yeah.
They go to Detroit. They go to Minneapolis.
Yeah.
She had
My goodness.
she took 2 trips over to Eastern New York to Lake Placid.
Well, they probably run that program like a small college program.
It is.
I mean,
they played close to 60 games this past summer.
Yeah,
Or this
I
past
mean,
winter.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
60?
60.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
Gilmore Academy, dude, it's no
I don't-
joke, dude.
okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's a
Their
private
boys won
school.
the state title this year.
In hockey?
And boys hockey, yeah. Yep.
How many boys hockey teams are there in high school around Ohio?
So there's club teams, and then there's OHSAA teams.
Athens has one.
Yeah.
They got a high school hockey team.
Yeah.
I think it's club.
Okay.
Is it
Yeah,
club?
it's club.
Yeah, yeah.
But like the schools in Cleveland, so St. Ed's.
Yeah.
Gosh, who else? University.
Okay.
Schools in Cleveland has got a boys team. I mean, there's teams all over, in Cleveland especially.
Okay.
And then Columbus got into it hot and heavy with the Blue Jackets. So
Yeah.
the Dublin schools, Olentangy schools, they've got.
So it's around.
Well, and then
It's around. It's growing.
over around like Pittsburgh, don't you have like
huge.
Swickley Academy
Yeah.
and some of those over there like
Shady Side.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Gilmore plays Shady Side.
Okay.
They go to and they'll play a lot of teams out of Detroit. Rochester, New York.
Yeah.
We do some traveling. So the whole reason why I got into flying
There's the pilot. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
was because I knew that I was going to have to go back and forth to get her in order, so
Does she live there?
She lives in Cleveland through the school year, and then she'll come home and she'll spend 7-8 weeks with me this summer.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's my major mode of transportation, getting her back and forth to Cleveland as I fly.
Wow.
Yeah. And another benefit of COVID,
You learned how to fly.
I learned how to fly during COVID, yeah.
A lot of us just sat around, drank beer. I mean, this guy learns how to fly a plane, mountain bike.
What's the process of this? So I know you said you were looking at jets, and all of a sudden you were like, "Oh,
Yeah, that was just kind of on a spur of the moment night. I was just bored and on Google.
So give the average man
deep Google dive.
Yeah,
pretty
right.
much.
give the average man, if a man was sitting around right now and just wanted to be a pilot.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, what are you looking at? What are you doing?
We better break out your checkbook.
Okay, that's the first thing.
It ain't cheap.
Give me
Have
an
you seen the
example.
gas prices lately?
Yes.
Yeah.
Might
so-
want to take a look. Might want to take a look actually at your balance.
Strong point right there, my friend. Strong point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
What kind of cost are we looking at?
Av fuel is usually $1 to $1.50, maybe $2 more than what it is at the pump. So right now, my home airport in Pickaway County, I'm paying $5.75 a gallon, and my plane burns about 16 gallons an hour. So any trip I take for an hour is probably going to cost me just in fuel $100 to $125.
How far can you go in an hour?
Cruise speed, 100. It's like 100 and I think it's like 150 nautical from Pickaway, Circleville to Cleveland, and I can make that easily in an hour. So I can go from Circleville to Cleveland in an hour.
And that's probably what? 200 miles, you said, or 150?
It's 150 nautical.
It's 150, okay, which means in the air, basically.
Yeah, statute miles, which is what we drive, about 185. So
Okay.
2 weeks ago, my wife and I went to Georgia, an hour north of Atlanta, to visit a friend that I trained with, and we made that trip in an hour and 45 minutes.
How do you get, like, whenever you do that, are you high enough that you have to, like, read the coordinates, or are you just following the site?
It's all done by GPS. Yeah. And so you plug in the GPS and the autopilot. You can see it on moving maps. It's, again, like another computer, kind of like a robot.
Okay.
It's a ton of fun.
What about other planes?
Most planes are similar. You've got older planes that had classic six-pack gauges or steam gauges that I think are more difficult to fly. But
No, I'm saying how you keep from hitting other planes in the sky.
well, the ATC, air traffic control, when you get your instrument rating, their job is to keep you separated from other traffic.
Well, so I thought that like 0 to 5,000 was line of sight. I thought that's what Sandy was telling us. We had an air traffic controller on the show,
Yeah.
and he was kind of breaking down the levels of this. They'll hand you off at another level,
Right.
and do all that.
That's through air traffic control in different centers.
He's probably
throughout the
talking about
country.
commercial flight too.
He was, but I thought that he said like your 0 to 5,000 or 0 to 10,000 feet is all line of sight stuff.
No, I mean, if it could be cloudy at 200 feet. So
Yeah.
there's VFR, so visual flight rules.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So you can fly up to 17,999 as a VFR pilot.
Okay.
If you're going to go 18,000 or higher, you have to have your instrument rating.
Okay. And you do that.
Yes. Yeah. So I got my private pilot. It took me. I kept switching planes, so I ended up getting my private pilot after about 100 hours because I went from one plane to another. And planes are
What is
interesting.
the process, man? Like, okay, you decide, all right, I want to be a pilot.
Yep.
What do you do?
So you have to do a ground school, and most of those are online now. There's plenty of online courses that you learn, and it just kind of teaches the theory behind flying, aerodynamics, teaches you about instrumentation.
Did you have any background in any of this? Or?
No.
Okay.
My dad was actually a flight instructor and always wanted to teach me, and I'd just gotten into practice and surgery, and
Right.
I was always afraid. I just had this fear that I've finally arrived, and I'd be in a plane and something bad would happen.
John
Right,
Everett.
right,
Yeah.
right.
So I never did do it, and it's one of my big regrets in life is
Okay.
I wished I would have allowed him to teach me.
Yeah.
But anyhow, I got started in September 1st of 2019. I took my first lesson and really enjoyed it. And then you got to stay with it. You got to stay, you got to stay in the plane. If a guy's going to take this on or a gal's going to take this on, you really need to fly probably twice a week.
Okay.
Because if you don't, you tend to lose the skill set pretty quickly. You have to have at least 40 hours of flight time in order to take a check ride. Most
What's a
people
check ride?
check rides where you get checked out to where the pilot examiner, the designated pilot examiner, otherwise known as the DPE, will sign off and says, "Yep, you're now a private pilot," and then
Okay.
you get a license from the FAA.
Okay.
So most people would struggle to get through their private pilot in 40 hours. Some can, but most will not. So typical is probably 60 to 70 flight hours.
Okay.
It's with the fuel costs right now, it's probably close to 250 to 300 an hour. So you're looking at somewhere between 10 to 12 grand
Yeah.
Yeah.
to get your private, and it's going to be
Are
another.
you flying somebody else's plane doing this? Like, are you renting
When
like,
you
the
first start?
instructor? Yeah. Or,
Yeah, typically you'll rent planes, and that's
Okay.
kind of goes into that 250 to 300.
Okay.
After about 35, 40 hours, I met a guy and become friends with him, and we went in together and bought a plane together.
Okay.
And so I trained in our own plane.
Okay.
Oh, that's cool.
It made it.
Make you check out your stuff.
Every plane is unique, and so the plane we have now is pretty quick, but a trainer plane's like a Cessna 172, which is probably what you guys are familiar with seeing in general aviation.
Right.
You know, I wouldn't even attempt to go get in a Cessna 172 because I haven't flown one in about 300 hours.
Okay.
So, you know, they're all unique and they all got their nuances that you need to learn.
What are you
Yeah.
flying now?
We fly a Piper Malibu.
Okay.
It seats 6. We just moved up. It's pressurized.
Oh,
So when
okay.
I went to Georgia, I went at 18,000 feet.
Oh, nice.
Pressurized.
Twin engines or?
Nope, just single.
Okay.
I've got my twin engine rating.
Okay.
But he and I talked, and we made the decision it's probably best that we.
How
not
much
buy
room
one.
is in this plane? Is just you and your wife sitting there? Is she behind you? Is she beside
No,
you?
she's beside me, and then or Caroline, she sits beside me, my daughter, and we've got 6 seats in it, and so
my.
you know we couldn't put 6 guys like the size of us in there and go
Right.
any amount of distance because everything's weight based,
Yeah.
yeah.
and then once you put fuel on board, you know you got to be under a certain weight,
Yeah.
but you can fit 4 in it pretty easily.
So luggage, you got your luggage, you got all
Yep.
that stuff.
Yep, you can fit 100 pounds in the nose, and then you can put 200 pounds in the back, and then you know bodies and fuel, and our useful load, which is everything that the plane can hold, is about 1,300 pounds. So you just got to work within the math to figure out
Where to
how
put
much
it.
everybody weighs, what they're taking, and how much fuel we need to get where we're going.
Right.
Can
And
they
you might
get-
need to take a fuel stop.
Can they get up? Like, can your passenger get up and walk in the back? Like, move around a little bit if they wanted to?
So the Malibu is really nice because it's cabin class, and so we had a Beechcraft Bonanza, super nice plane, but you're kind of stuck in those seats. You can't. There's not much wiggle
Like
room.
riding in a car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with the Malibu, if our little ones are fussy in the back, my wife can get out of the co-pilot seat and go in the back and take care of them, and then she can come back up and sit down.
Man,
That's awesome.
I'd be
man.
scared to death.
Really?
I don't know.
Probably.
man.
I don't have
At one
any-
time I might have been, man, but I've done so much commercial flight, and then
Would you just go up with anybody?
well, I mean, like if Hickey wanted to fly me somewhere,
I
I'd
know
go with
Kyle
him.
Hickey.
Yeah, I'd go with him. I mean, we
Kyle's-
just met Bill. I'd fly with Bill. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I probably would. I just
Kyle's a well-trained pilot.
really,
Yeah,
yeah. I know he does it a lot. but-
Yeah. They've got a Cirrus Vision jet now.
yeah, that's what he's
the
talking
real
about.
deal.
Yeah, and he's flying that thing, isn't he?
He is. Yeah. Yeah.
Now flying a jet, that's got to be a different ball
Oh
game.
no!
too,
Wait a
isn't
minute.
it?
We can't be going here fluffing Hickey's
We're not fluffing
ego.
Hickey. We're not
We
fluffing
can't be
it.
on here
Yeah,
fluffing
no,
Hickey's
no,
ego.
no, we won't. We won't.
Hickey, I got.
I give credit where credit's due, dude.
Well, you did.
yeah.
Everybody gives Hickey credit. Even Massey says how smart Hickey is.
Well, I didn't say he was smart.
Yeah.
Do you know Fat Massey comes over in boxes?
Well, I wouldn't call him Fat Man.
I would. I saw him eating last night. He was an Arch Daddy. Shocker.
my.
We love him. We love Scott.
Yeah. We like all those guys, but
Scott's not a pilot, is he?
no,
he sits in the back and drinks beer.
Hickey's his pilot.
Eric is though, isn't he?
Eric is, yeah.
yeah.
So,
I live right beside the Jackson County Airport.
do you really?
Yeah.
That's
right
a
beside.
fun airport to fly into.
There's a ton of traffic there.
Is
Yeah.
it really?
Ton.
You
For
kind of
me.
drop right in.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Oh,
kind of funny because you come over the hills and you just
Yeah.
drop right into it.
Yeah.
Whenever you look, be south, you got one way's Oak Hill, one way's it's in between Galpless and Oak Hill.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you, man. My experience with flying is, commercial, of course. Those big planes, you just get on there, do whatever. It's kind of a pain in the ass, Then I was with a company where occasionally we would get to fly private, like like NetJets, Millionaire,
planes,
whatever.
yeah.
It is. I mean, dude, that is a game changer. I mean, you throw your bags in it, jump in, and go. I mean, and those are awesome. Yeah. And
no cavity searches by TSA.
No. I mean, it's beautiful, and that's why I got to think like having your own plane like that's got to be just
It's really nice. I feel very blessed to be where I am.
What goes into the like safety checks and stuff before you leave on the ground? Like, are there very specific things that you're checking for there?
Yeah. Otherwise known as a checklist.
Okay.
I'd say there's a lot of very specific
well,
things.
like I would hope so. That would be the thing I would really worry about.
So we've got a checklist that I actually click off every time I go through and pre-flight. And it's one thing to get into a plane and learn how to fly and go fly yourself.
Yeah.
But I tell you, when you put people in there with you, I don't know why it changes a switch.
It probably does, yeah.
It really does when you become responsible for somebody else on board.
Yeah.
You had any close calls?
No.
Nope.
No. I mean, could it happen? Absolutely. And I'm not so I'm not arrogant to think that it could never happen, because it can, and I think about it all the time.
Are you staying aware, or are you just kicking back and cruising?
No. My motor's turning the whole time we're flying.
You're constantly feeling, checking, just keeping stuff straight.
Yeah,
I mean,
I check the gauges all the time. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's times where 10, 15 minutes can go by, and I can have a conversation with my wife, or I can talk with Caroline about what's going on.
If nothing major happens, then
and ATC, you got to listen to your call sign, and they'll call you, and they may hand you off to another ATC controller, and so you got to be aware of those kind of things. You can kind of listen in the background, but yeah, my motor's always turning when I'm flying.
Are you you're hearing them talking to other people too, aren't they?
Yeah, there's a lot of traffic that goes on the radio that doesn't pertain to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you turn that off? But you still kind of have to listen, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, they always start with your call sign. So,
which is that your tail number?
Yeah, my tail number.
Okay.
So ours is 910 Mike, and so I'm always listening to that tail number, or our Bonanza tail number. I was always listening to that. And you kind of get tuned into it, and you can when all of a sudden you hear the first couple of numbers and you perk up and listen to see what they got to say. But it's been a great journey for sure. It's taught me a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that I learned to fly when I did. I turned 49 in about 3 weeks. And I told you I wished my dad had taught me. But if I'd have got my pilot's license when I'd been in my 20s, that'd have been a recipe for a disaster.
Might not have been serious about it.
We talked about mountain biking, right?
Yeah.
Hardcore.
Yeah.
Well, that's just my mentality. And I didn't really start checking myself until I was probably in my mid-30s.
Yeah.
So the maturity level has really helped me. And so for example, my daughter and I were in Detroit at a hockey tournament, and we were supposed to come home one night, and I go out to get the plane ready, and it had started to snow. And I thought, okay, snow's not a big deal. Once we fire up the engine, the prop will blow all the snow off the wings. You can't have anything on the surface of the wing. And I go out there, well, it's like frozen rain, and it's sticking to the wing surface. That's a no-go.
Yeah.
So I told the line guy, put it back in the hangar, pulled out my credit card, and Caroline and I went to the hotel and we spent the night. Those are the kind of things that maybe when I was in my 20s that I probably wouldn't have checked myself on.
Yeah. You'd have thought, I can make it.
Yeah, and that's where guys get in trouble.
That's where the Buddy Holly stories come in and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yep. Huh. Now, I will tell you, you talked about close calls. It wasn't a close call per se, but it definitely gave me pause. So I told you I fly in out of Cleveland a lot. Well, I was dropped Caroline off one evening. It's in the wintertime. I was taking off. Well, usually they route me directly south, the Cleveland departure, Cleveland approach. Well, they took me out over the lake. And let me tell you what, when we talked about VFR and IFR, so visual flight rules versus instrument flight rules. Well, when they take you out over the lake, guess what? There's no horizon because there's no lights over it. It's just a black abyss.
Yeah.
And I thought I had the autopilot engaged, and I didn't. And and I'm constantly checking gauges, and I looked down, and the plane was already in about a 25-degree bank, and it was diving, and I couldn't feel it. My inner ear couldn't tell me. And I don't know if you remember, but about 2 years ago, there was a family out of Columbus that had a light jet that went to a Cavs game, and I think the same thing happened to them. He thought he had his autopilot engaged, End up doing a death spiral into the lake.
Oh,
they never
what lake
found
was
him.
this? You said
Lake
Erie.
Erie.
Lake Erie. Yeah,
Yeah,
'cause that's
never
prob-
found him.
So what'd you do? Just all of a sudden,
They
Well, and I
never-
realized
they
that,
never
hey, the autopilot's not flying this thing. Then
Yeah.
you start checking. I
Yeah.
leveled the wings, and then
Yeah.
thought, oh, here's the issue. And guess what? Just like computers, they do what you tell them to do.
Oh,
And if
yeah.
you don't tell them to do it, they don't do it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, because you have no way of checking. Well,
Well-
then your instruments. I mean,
Yeah, that's it.
Can't feel it.
You couldn't feel it in your inner ear, and that's what gets some people in trouble.
Dangerous.
So
Wow.
it makes you better because you got to constantly follow a checklist and
Yep.
Yeah.
see how things are
you
progressing
get better at it.
and get better at it. That's right. So
Yeah.
I never stop learning.
Yeah.
Constantly watch videos and listen to other guys, and
So
obviously
you've
mistakes.
obviously developed a big passion for being a pilot and flight.
Yeah, I love it. The fine motor skill that goes along with it, the thinking. I mean, it is a very high level thinking.
Kind
hobby,
of
if you will.
similar to surgery, probably in some ways.
It is similar. It's similar in a lot of ways. As a matter of fact,
How do you keep frying your brain?
well, I won't say it happened a long time ago. I didn't really do that, but it is very high level, and aviation has taught medicine a lot. In the operating room, guess what we do before we start an operation? We have a checklist.
Checklist, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I am so thankful for that because that keeps us out of trouble.
Probably very similar professions, really.
It is. You got to be humble.
Safety wise and
That's right.
protocol wise.
Yeah.
The old mantra of like I'm the captain of the ship and everybody's going to do what I tell them. That's garbage. We all need help. We need to be on a team.
Yeah.
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 Got anything else, bub?
No, man. I mean,
I've enjoyed it.
I've enjoyed it. I tell you what, we've got to have him back.
Yeah. Will you come back and see us?
I'd love to. This went so fast.
It did.
Yeah, it did.
And that was probably 2 hours.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, pretty close.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
It's 8 o'clock.
I've got so
Yeah.
much more to say.
Yeah.
I know.
So you're
I know.
coming back.
Well, and I've only got about 100 more questions. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, let's do it again. We'll get you back. But thank you for coming on,
Thanks
man.
for coming on.
I love the invitation.
Yeah,
I really do.
Yeah, we'll do this anytime you want to. And
Yeah.
hey, check out the ChubbyGuysPodcast.com.
Yeah, and hey guys, go get some merch, man.
Yeah, you see
check
that?
it out.
We
Yeah.
got Prater's modeling for us.
Oh,
you
yeah.
seen Prater modeling for us?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what he's secretly trying to do.
Well, I mean, he's one of the sexiest men alive, so he's got
the
that nice
nicest new
sleeve.
cars.
Yeah.
That sweatshop's really doing well for you.
Yeah, it is.
Right.
It is. It
And
is.
nobody wears a bald head like that guy.
Are you still going to boxing every morning?
I am.
Yeah.
Not in the morning. I go in the evenings.
You go
I
in
go
the
with my wife. If I don't go with my wife, I get guilted.
I don't know which one your wife is. I know you go there, but and I'm sure I've seen your wife. But I don't,
She's usually the one that was standing right next to me, just trying to knock the shit out of me.
you know what? I do remember. I can't put a face with her, but I do remember you working out with a girl over there that was kind of abusing.
Yeah, and she's pretty intense.
Yeah.
She gives me the business.
We're right in the middle of we're right at the tail end of 8U baseball. So a couple nights a week, we're
Yeah.
two to 3 nights a week. We're playing.
Are you coming back?
Oh yeah. I'm waiting on school to get done. Let's get baseball season over with.
Now, you a morning guy or evening guy?
I like to go in the mornings. It's tough for me to get over there in the evenings, but I love to kick off my day with that.
It is great. I struggle with you got to go to bed so early in order to get up to go do that.
Well, at 3 days a week, I can go to bed at. I didn't tell you this. I've been focusing on going to bed by 11.
Yeah, that's what you said.
And I'm not getting. I do feel more rested.
Yeah.
But it's just I'm still a little restless while I'm doing it. I was a 2 or 3 o'clock in
This
the morning guy.
Young guys.
Yeah,
right?
right.
Let me tell you what.
Yeah.
9 p.m. I'm a pumpkin.
Are you? Are you 9 o'clock and you're down?
I'm down.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying I'm asleep. Maybe kicked back watching a little telly.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's you're
You know
shut
why?
down.
You know
You're
why I
shut
do
down.
that?
Why?
Because it feels good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Just kind of start shutting down.
See, I had a bad habit for a long time. I'd be up till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
I went through that, dude.
Yeah.
Like
Really?
The problem I had is like if I tried to go to bed too early, I couldn't fall asleep.
Yeah.
And then I'd stay awake too long. But I've not had that problem recently.
Have you guys tried drinking?
Yeah, I've not had that problem recently.
Yeah. Usually, if I drink though, I burp it up all night.
Oh,
Yeah.
There you,
you know,
go.
so it's just it doesn't go.
You
in
know
my
what?
favor.
They make a surgery for that. I know a
Go-
guy.
Oh,
I know a guy.
Yeah.
Full circle.
That's right.
Full
There we
circle
go.
right there.
There we go.
Look him up, Dr. Bill Sever.
BillSeverSurgery.com.
Yes.
There we go.
See.
See.